friends, welcome back to Nature's Cadence Farm. Today we are standing in the orchard, or what's soon to be our orchard. So if you follow us on Instagram, you might have seen a post where we went to Edible Landscaping in Afton, Virginia about a month or so ago and picked up some apple trees and some blueberries and some hazelnuts. So yesterday, Mr. Cadence and I dug all the holes. We planned all this out. Well, this has been in the works for months. First we started by putting the pigs on this particular lot. You might be able to see them behind me over there. They're working on the other half for next year's half of the orchard. And then we went through with the DR mower and cleaned everything up. Some of you might remember that this particular area used to be a giant pile of logs that the woodcutters left behind when we first bought this property many years ago. So we've worked on it over and over again. Because of the steepness, I don't know how well the camera shows the grade, but it's pretty steep. So because of that, we're doing a net and pan design, sort of. We've got our, yesterday we took the time to find our contours with the transit. And then Mr. Cadence did all the digging, of course, because he's awesome. He dug all of our holes yesterday. So today is the fun part. Today we are going to put the trees in the ground. We're going to get them covered up with some cardboard to kind of suppress some of this grass. There's more grass than I'd like. I thought the pigs would have done a little bit more, but we're just running out of time. It's late October right now. We had our first frost yesterday, so we really need to get these guys in the ground. So we're just going to go ahead and pile through, and there may be some weeding in the future, but that's okay. So let us start putting some plants in holes and get them covered up. Start with the apple tree first. This one is a Liberty. This one's actually a dwarf. The other two we got are semi-dwarfs, so I kind of wanted to try both of them and see which one I like, because I'm pretty short, so I didn't want to be climbing up a 30-foot tree in order to get an apple. So as you can see, when Mr. Cadence dug these holes, we put a berm on the back side of it. That's because this is a very steep downhill, and so the purpose of that berm is to kind of hold water in. This is some beautiful compost. These were wood chips and chicken droppings that we've had basically sitting in a pile for about 1.5 years. So they're nice and broken down. I'll give this a good start. All right. Alright, next step is to give this some water, and here we've got a little bit of diluted Neptune's Harvest. Beware, this stuff is super smelly. None for you, little doe. Go lay down, Figs. Alright, as I said before, we're definitely going to be fighting weeds around here. So we are going to cover this in cardboard and some paper. Actually, first we're going to top dress with a little bit of biochar. This has not been inoculated, so I'm just going to put it on the very, very top. If I had inoculated it already with some rainwater or some compost soup or something of some sort, I would have buried it in the hole. But since it's still pretty fresh, I'm just going to crinkle a little bit in the top here. Not too much. I've heard estimates that about 10% biochar to whatever amount of medium you have is usually a good ratio. I don't know how well tested that theory is, but that's what we're going to follow today. As I said before, we're definitely going to be fighting weeds in here, so I'm going to go ahead and cover with some paper and some cardboard next. So we like to purchase from Thrive Market occasionally, and they have this awesome packing paper that they use, and it's kind of perfect for planting trees. So that's what we're gonna put some of this down. Then we're gonna put some cardboard on top. This will give the worms a very happy place to live in all that compost. Next is the box. I might need to cut this up just a little bit more. The good thing is we're going into winter, so that'll give all this a good amount of time to break down, and hopefully we might get ahead of the grass just a little bit. Alright, now that we've got our cardboard down, we've got compost in the hole, we've got fish fertilizer, we've got biochar, we've got paper, we've got cardboard. We have two more steps. One is to cover this whole thing with wood chips, and then the final step is going to be to put up really big fencing because we have very hungry deer here and I don't want them eating all my apple trees. We happen to have some fencing from an old dog lot that we got from a neighbor. So we're gonna have giant fencing, but it's what we have on hand and we didn't have to go out and buy anything, so it's gonna look a little silly for a while, but it'll definitely be protected. friends, it is the end of day 3, and this is what the aftermath of 3 days of trying to plant our trees, our orchard, looks like. Mr. Cadence is putting on the final touches. Here we got our deer-proof fencing here on all of our little, there's a little blueberry here that he's working on. So I mentioned earlier that I planted everything on contour. I also put everything in the permaculture orchard style of having a nitrogen fixer, a nut tree, and then a fruit tree. So this right here is our blueberry. Then over there is our apple. For our nitrogen fixer, we used locusts because we have them. They're plentiful and they're easy to cut down. We have black locusts here on the property, and this is literally a seedling we just pulled up out of our mulch pile. So it was free and convenient, and eventually, once it gets too big, we'll just chop it down and use the poles for something and replace it with a different nitrogen fixer. Down there is a hazelnut, and there is another apple. There's a Malibu doing final inspection. The apple trees are in these huge cages because they were much bigger. I believe I mentioned earlier that we got these cages from a neighbor years ago, and we are finally putting them to use. So nothing better than having free resources on hand. We have quite a boneyard of things that we collect just for this purpose. And the cages that are around the little blueberries and stuff, we also had on hand. Someone gave them to us years ago because they had used them as tomato trellises and didn't need them anymore. So that was a blessing too. We literally did not buy anything for this orchard except for the plants themselves, and they were very reasonably priced at a sale. We went to the sale at Edible Landscaping, and it was all very reasonable. So right here is another blueberry. Over there is another hazelnut. Then another blueberry down there in the bottom, and a locust at the very, very bottom, and an apple tree in that big cage right where Malibu's standing. So guys, this is it. Here's our iconic tree that's always at the beginning of our videos. We've had a lot of fun. It took us a long time, and hopefully we'll get to report back soon that we have fruit in the next, 2-3 years on something, fruits or nuts. And if you want to follow more in real time, I tend to update Instagram more than we do our videos. Our videos take a really long time to get edited. So follow us over on Instagram. We hope you're having a good evening, a good fall. Some of you might already be in winter time. But that's it for this evening. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.